I love a bit of open road, but what about the off-road? Let's go do it. Woohoo! Here we are, the heroic Harley, going off-road. Wow, let's see.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Hope you're enjoying the channel and this series of videos. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share, leave those comments and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. And you'll find the links for Patreon and PayPal there too. So in this video I'm talking about taking your Harley off-road. Now I've always had a great belief that any bike can be taken off-road, off the main highway, within reason. You know, as long as it's flat, hard, compacted trails, or tracks, no problem at all. And you can do it road tyres, whatever. Harleys, yeah, it's low slung, but they can do it. Now, I love riding on the road, but one of my first loves was always riding off-road. In fact, before I had the Harley, I had a big adventure bike. My whole idea was that I was going to sell the adventure bike, get myself on a Harley, which I love, and then I was going to buy myself a small enduro bike, something like that. But since I've been riding the Harley, I've been thinking, hey ho, do you know what? Maybe I could ride a Harley off-road. But here are a few issues. Let's go up here.
Right, so as you can see, I'm on the trails here, and with the heroic Harley, all fine and dandy, and it's performing fantastically. And look, this is all off the main highway, and love it. But actually, is it really suited to it? Well, it isn't actually, is it? And we know that. All the Harleys are kind of low slung, not enough ground clearance, and also the gearing is too long for off-road riding. But sort of hard compacted trails, not a problem. So the thing is, I want to get back into off-road riding, but I don't really want to buy a modern enduro bike. I actually want the challenge of either converting a Harley to go off-road, something like a Sportster, or wait and maybe take a little punt on that Pan America when it comes out, whenever it comes out, possibly spring 2021. Now the thing is with the Pan America, it's just like any other big adventure bike. They're big, and it's going to be big and heavy and cumbersome, which is great for just normal trail riding, or what adventure bikes are there for, just going off on longer rides. But if you want to get into something serious, then they're not good. Too heavy, in my opinion. Same for any of these, they're just too big and heavy. Well, yeah, on more trails. Look, not ashamed to say, I love taking the heroic Harley on-road and off-road, but I know its limitations. I'm not daft enough to actually take this kind of bike on any serious trails. But any kind of tracks and hard compacted narrow trails, no problem. But actually, you always want to do a little bit more. So, as I say, when I bought this, I actually wanted to continue my off-road riding. But now I think about it, I don't really want to get a modern enduro bike. All the power, they're fantastic. I have my favorites out there, and maybe one day I'll do a review of those bikes as well. But actually, I want to kind of go back old school a little bit. I want to go back to a twin shocker scrambler type of bike. I have been considering getting an old Sportster. And the reason I wanted to get a Sportster, because it kind of reminds me of the old scramblers of years ago. Totally different setup, I know, and probably still the wrong bike for the job. But if I still just want to go on just normal flat compacted trails, I'm not leaping over tall buildings or anything, it might just do the trick. But the problem is, just like on my Sport Glide, it's ground clearance. So probably gonna have to beef up the suspension, change the front forks, change the rear shocks as well, just to beef it up, raise it up a little bit. That's one thing I need to do. Get off-road tyres, that's another thing. Have to put some kind of belly protection underneath there, belly pan as well. But essentially, that's it. Also, what I would need to do as well is this, and this is really important for anybody who wants to take their Harleys off-road. Belt drives off-road is not really a good idea. This kind of thing is fine if you're going slowly, not a problem. But any sort of serious off-road, you don't want a belt, you actually want a chain. And the reason is if a pebble gets in your belt, that's it, you're foobarred really, and it's an expensive proposition. But a chain's going to be a lot stronger, especially for off-road, and it's going to be a lot more resilient as well. But I'm in a bit of a dilemma. Although I want to take a Harley Davidson off-road, a lot more technical, which I'm doing now, of course, and I want to convert one that will be fit for purpose in a kind of old school scrambler way, the amount of money that it's going to cost to not only buy a Harley Davidson, a Sportster, and then to spend the extra money, possibly a couple of thousand, to convert it to off-road with shocks, chain drive, that kind of thing. I'm wondering, is it really worth it? I'm wondering, is it really worth it when I can go onto the market and buy a bike that is going to be relatively small, a lot smaller than an adventure bike, and a lot smaller physically than a Pan America, because it's not only weight that you've got to consider when you're going off-road, it's also the physical size of it. Now, I'm quite a big guy, but actually even I would actually go for a smaller bike for off-road purposes, because you want to be able to manhandle it a lot better. And if you do drop it, because you will drop it when you go off-road, that's part of going off-road, you want something that's small and lightweight, relatively speaking, to pick up. So possibly the Sportster isn't the way to go. Maybe another bike that's out there that's going to cost me, well, about £3,000 or £4,000 brand new, it might be the way to go. And that could be the Royal Enfield Himalayan, which I'm a big fan of too. There's no doubt when the Harley Davidson Pan America comes to market, I'm going to want to test ride that, because I'm really excited by what that bike can do for Harley Davidson in the adventure bike world, and also attract a lot of riders to off-road riding, and also they attract them to Harley Davidson that wouldn't necessarily associate Harley Davidson with that kind of riding, if you know what I mean. I've said in previous videos, if they get it right, price point, and as long as it's capable off-roader, then I think they'll hit big with the Pan America. But it's a big if. Now for me, any bike can go off-road at any time. Virtually so anyway, as long as it's flat, as I say, compact, especially, you know, in dry weather conditions, absolutely fine. When you start getting into more technical off-road riding, that's it. You want a smaller bike and a lightweight bike. Possibly a converted Sportster isn't the way to go, but you'd have some fun on the trails, no doubt, and it would be something different. That's what I like. That's what I also like about the Royal Enfield Himalayan. It probably isn't the best bike out there, but certainly it's a harping back to old school riding, which I really like. And well, it's capable. It'll do what you want it to do. As I say, I'm not going to be jumping off boulders or climbing up the sides of mountains. It's just going to be general off-road riding, and I just want a bit of extra protection for the bike, a bit beefier suspension, and gearing that is relatively slow. You don't need a fast bike off-road as well. That's one of the key things. So that's it really. What do I do? What do I do? Now, it could be a case that I don't do anything at all. It could be that I just wait to the Pan America and see. Now, for all you Sport Glide fans out there, I just want to say I'm not selling that. I love it too much to sell it. And I don't think I will go for the Pan America in terms of a second bike, because that's a massive expense. But I probably will look at a cheaper off-road bike. If I can find a really cheap Sportster that's already had a chain conversion, or one that's had a chain before, then I'll be very inclined to do that. Make my own belly pan, just beef up the suspension a little bit, and just take it off-road. And I think it will work with some off-road tyres as well. It will be a whole lot of fun. But what do you think? Do you think Harley Davidsons can be ridden off-road just like this, in their standard form, or do you think this is crazy to do that? I personally don't think it's crazy at all. It's my bike, I'll do what I want with it, and it's your bike, you do what you want with it. But there are definite limitations. The big problem is that they're not suited for it. That's absolutely right, and you could easily drop your bike and damage it. So you've got to be very careful, that's no doubt, and you've got to be very sensible where you're taking them, that's no doubt. But could you convert a bike, a Harley Davidson, let's say, that's really big and heavy, to go off-road? I think you could, especially a Sportster. It's been done before, flat trackers, you know, it can easily be done. But the thing is, can it be done on a budget? I'm not so sure. Let me know what you think. Let me know of possibly the most important things that I would need to convert a Harley Davidson Sportster into an off-road capable trail rider enduro bike. Something that's light and efficient and capable to go off-road. That's all I need. Something to enjoy a bit of the countryside. Let us know what you think, but don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share, leave those comments, check out the website at RevelatorAlf.com where you'll find the links to Patreon and PayPal. And now I'm going to get on the heroic Harley and I'm going to go whoop, down there and see where it takes me. Catch you again. Ta-da!
Right, on we go.